Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cooking with Steve. I'm really excited for today's episode because I get to break out my new KitchenAid mixer and pasta makers and make homemade ravioli. It's going to be an Italian sausage ravioli. Tastes really great. Thanks for joining. Let's get started. Alright, I've taken out some spinach leaves that I washed. I cut the stems off. I'm going to go ahead and chop these up. I'm using my pizza cutter to do it. Over on the stove, I've got the sausage frying. I went ahead and I took out two of the sausage links, the Italian sausage links, and I cut the skin off the sausage and put that in over there, and I've got it frying. So you can just take this and go over these quickly and chop them up. It's a lot faster. You're going to want these in small pieces. So that they'll fit in your ravioli quite nicely. And you can just look at them by the size of them and know if you've done enough. We'll go ahead and we'll prep all these other ones, and in a little bit we'll mix it all together with regatta cheese. Well, it's time to make the pasta part of the ravioli. It's a really simple recipe. You can do it by hand, but I bought a KitchenAid mixer for Christmas, and really excited to be using it a bunch. I've used it a little bit, gotten used to it. We're going to have 3 different types of mixers you can use with this. We're not going to use that mixer. We're going to use the dough hook. And I think I'll set this one aside as well. It's pretty simple. I've got about 1.5 cups of flour. I'm going to add it to the mixing bowl. Go ahead and put our dough hook on our mixer. I'm going to crack a couple of eggs. These are large eggs. Whenever you're making noodles or pasta, you're going to vary the size of the egg to the amount of flour. So like I said, I started off with about 1.5 cups. I think that's a little less than we'll need. So I've got another bowl of flour here that we can start adding to it as well when we need to. I'm going to go ahead and put that down, lock it in place. Turn the mixer on 2. Add our 2 eggs. Add a little bit of salt. I'm going to let this go a little bit. It's starting to mix in. With the dough hook, I've found that I do have to push the flour in a little bit from the side of the bowl. So I'll turn off the mixer to do that. Mixing again. This thing's so cool. Kind of a major purchase for me, but I've really found that it's worth it. In a little bit I'll be breaking out the pasta makers that attach to the front, and you'll get to see those in action as well. Like I said, you can do this by hand, but when you have a tool, it's time to use it, and this tool is kind of fun. to mix up nicely now. Moving the flour back into the dough, into the eggs, so that this dough hook can work it. It's starting to mix in kind of nicely now. We'll be back in a minute. Alright, as I mentioned before, you kind of have to play with the batter or the dough to try to get it right. I did add an extra egg, and then when I added an extra egg, it caused me to add a little bit more flour. But once it starts to make a nice dough like this and it's not sticking to the bowl too much, you're pretty much ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and remove it from the thing, work it on the counter just a little bit, and we'll get started. Our dough is pretty much ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and work it on the counter for just a little bit. And whenever you're making noodles or pasta, flour is your friend, and don't be afraid to use it. Flour your hands up, put some on the counter. I'm going to go ahead and remove the dough. Work it a little bit, kind of like Play-Doh when you were a kid. Just incorporating that in until it's a nice consistency. You can see it, it's not really sticking to my hands too bad. That's going to make some nice pasta. At this point, you're going to want to go ahead and get some plastic wrap. I pre-cut a piece earlier. Put your dough inside the plastic wrap. You don't have to, but it makes it a lot easier to work with the dough a little bit later if you do this step. Gonna go ahead and wrap it up and put it in the refrigerator, and we'll be back and we'll use our pasta maker and we'll roll it out and make some dumplings. Not dumplings, excuse me. We'll make some ravioli. While we're waiting on our dough in the refrigerator, I've gone ahead and I've got the spinach that we chopped up earlier, some regatta cheese. You can see that I have the Italian sausage all fried up and crumbled real nice. I'm going to go ahead and add that. A little bit of Italian seasoning. Some garlic powder. And the regatta cheese. I'm going to go ahead and work that a little bit and mix it all up. And this will make a nice stuffing for our ravioli. A lot of good stuff in there. As usual, I think I made a little too much for the amount of pasta that we'll have, but we'll see. Be sure and mix it thoroughly. You want to get those spices spread out really nicely. there it is. Okay, we're back. I've got ahead and got the dough out of the refrigerator. I'm gonna go ahead and unwrap it. Toss my plastic away. Work it for just a second with my hands. At this point, we're not going to work all of this dough through the machine at once. We're going to divide it into 4 pieces. A nice little knife here. Now, to keep your dough fresh and everything good, the 3 pieces that you're not working, go ahead and cover them with a bowl. Some flour on this piece. Remember, flour is your friend. I'm going to go ahead and work this piece out about like that. You're going to want it thin enough that it'll go into the pasta roller. I got my pasta roller set on 1. With mine, it goes from like 1 to 8 in thicknesses, 8 being the thinnest. So I'm going to start with the thickest part at 1. Turn my mixer on to setting 2 and feed it in. Now I've got some flour on the counter. I'm going to go ahead and take it like that. A little flour on it. Real important to keep the flour on the counter because as you keep going, it might get a little sticky. So I took it, I put flour on it, I folded it in half long ways, and stuck it back in. And that's working out. A little more flour. Once again, don't fold it sideways, fold it long ways. At the leading edge of this, I go ahead and I try to pinch it down so it'll go in easy. Enter it into my pasta maker. One more time. Leading edge. Get the corners in a little bit. And feed it through. Remember to keep a little bit of flour on your counter. Go ahead and put it down. Set my thickness to 2. Fold it over. Pinch the leading edge. Push it through. A little flour on the back side. Fold it over. Leading edge. Put it through my roller again. Coming out kind of nice. Go ahead and change the setting to 3. Fold it over. Leading edge. Just keep repeating the same cycles. This thing's fun to use. Alright, it's looking kind of good. Fold it over. Fold in the corners a little bit because it's getting as wide as the maker. Leading edge. Set it to 4. Put it through. And kind of hard to tell from your viewpoint, but the pasta is getting thinner. A little more flour on the counter. Taking shape quite nicely. Leading edge. Fold in the corners a little bit. And put it through. It's just going to keep stretching it out and stretching it out and stretching it out. And it'll get a little longer each time. One more time on this setting for 4. On the corners. Leading edge. and put it through. A little bit of flour on it. Set my thickness to 5. Fold it over. Pinch in the corners. Leading edge. And I put it through. Now you can do this by hand and rolling it out on the counter with a roller. It's just a little more difficult. This thing makes it really nice. This pasta roller. A little flour. Fold it over. Corners. Leading edge. And I'm going to put it through. Pretty good. Fold over one more time. Set it to 6. I'm just going for a desired thickness so it's going to be easy to work the ravioli. Fold in my corners. Leading edge. Put it through. You can see it's getting longer and longer as we go. Again, put a little more flour on the counter. Fold it over. Leading edge. And we're going to put it through. Oh, that's coming out real nice. I'm going to go ahead and go through one more time. At the end, I like to cycle it through a couple of times without folding it over. And that came out really nice. I'm going to go ahead and set it down, and we'll get ready to make the ravioli. Well, we're back. As you can see, I went ahead and I cut the dough into 2 slices. I kind of cut it long ways. I did that so I can make the right size ravioli. Otherwise it gets really large. I'm going to take some of our mixture. Place it on your dough. Leave a little bit of maybe 1 knuckle's worth of gap. Take it then and fold it over. Press it down on the sides, around the front, kind of removing the air out of the pocket. Then I'm going to take my pizza cutter, cut around the ravioli. Trim the excess, put it aside. We can use that in another dish. Firm that up again. Take a fork, go around the outside of the ravioli and just seal it a little bit more. Pressing all the way around. And there we have a nice little ravioli. And I'm going to put them on a cookie sheet over here. And we're just going to keep repeating that process. You want to do this while your dough is still a little moist, because if it dries out, you'll have a hard time getting them to stick together. Some more of our mixture. Fold it over. Leave that little gap at the end. Again, press around the outside so that you're getting all the air out of the pocket. Take my pizza cutter, Go around the ravioli. Make sure you leave a little bit of space so that you have room for it to seal on the outside. You wouldn't want to cut up right next to it because then you don't have any seal. Might be able to get one more out of that. Take my fork, go around. And once again, I have a nice little ravioli. It's kind of fun. Let's see if we can get one more out of this small piece. Maybe make a little smaller one. This is going to be close. These are going to have some really nice flavor. I got, like I said, the Italian sausage, the feta cheese, garlic powder, Italian seasoning, all that in. And the stuffing mixture. Take my fork. You go around. This one opened up just a little bit. Pushing the limits on the size of the dough. And I'll place that on my tray. A little bit of the mixture. Fold it over. Leave a gap there at the end. Push out all your air. One of the things I really like to do is I enjoy making things, making new things, and just being creative in the kitchen. It's a lot of enjoyment, a lot of fun for me. There we are. Let's again go around with the fork. This really helps seal the outside edge so it doesn't come apart in your pasta water. I think we can do one more. Tasty. Fold it over. Seal the outsides. Trim. Toss our trimmings aside. With the fork, seal the outside edge. And there we have another nice little ravioli. I'm going to go ahead and put that on my cookie sheet. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these. I'm prepping for another meal that I'll make another day. I'll make all these up and then use the other dough that we did, those other 3 pieces, roll them out, make more ravioli, put them in the freezer on the cookie sheet, let them freeze, and then after they're frozen, I'll take them and put them in my vacuum sealer bag, seal them up, and then I can take them out and use them as I want, because I'm not going to be making them for today. That'll be another time. But all these extra trimmings that we talked about, that's still good pasta. You can cut that up into nice pieces. And if you take all those, put them in some chicken broth with some chicken and cook those up, that's a fantastic little meal in itself. So don't waste your scraps. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do the other 3 pieces and get those on the cookie sheet, and we'll be back. Alright everyone, that concludes today's episode of Cooking with Steve. I hope you enjoyed yourself, because I sure enjoyed spending the time with you. If you would, please help me out by liking the video, sharing it with friends, and subscribing. And until our next episode, always remember to live modestly, speak humbly, and enjoy life fully. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.